Um, obviously, trading changes as soon as they add a new fruit. Like, so it's constantly changing, evolving, right? But there's like, there's at least like some basics that you can understand on like how to how to manage around it, how to know like if you're getting the best out of your buck, as the best out of the trade and what you're doing, right? And there's gonna be some tips, how to like, how to get the best trades, I guess, how to understand what you're getting yourself into, I guess. And one thing I want to talk about first, right, is the scamming will always be an option. Like if somebody is scammable, like if you can scam them, like it's fair game. Like we're playing a pirate game for a reason. You gotta act like a pirate basically, right? To some extent, right? You know what I'm saying? So like I've like scammed like I gave like soul for a leopard, bro. I think I forgot something like that, right? But like the difference in value with those two fruits is immense. Like that is a bad trade on all standards, but it happens, But yeah, like that's just how it is, bro. Like, sorry guys, a lot of people are like, oh, they white knight it, and they're like, oh no, scamming is bad. Well, you know, they'll learn. Hopefully they learn from that experience. When I was when I was younger, I got scammed in Assassin for a purple rarity knife, bro, and I was demolished after that. I was like, I'll never let anybody scam me ever again, bro. So if you think about it, you're actually like teaching them something that they could not buy with money. You're giving them wisdom. You are helping them to evolve as a person, and that knowledge is greater than any fruit you could have ever given them, or any fruit that they could ever have gotten. Right? So technically, you're doing them a favor, to be honest. But yeah, anyways, back to the main like point of the video, right? I don't think I'll have a lot of like. There's not a lot of people like popular, going around the table right now. But let's go around with the fruits, right? Let's see what we got, right? Okay, so I have two dragon. I have one spirit. I have one control, or not. I'm kind of four controls, three venom, two shells. Yeah, whatever. I got a lot of these fruits, right? So when trading, this is very important. Like it's like a whole stock, kind of like a market kind of thing, right? And okay, this is gonna be even more important. Hold up, let me pick this up. Okay. So by looking at the shop, right? And this is basically the fruit dealer shop as it says right there. Ugh. It might be more. It might be better if I put it up here. Okay, here. This is perfect. Okay. It gives you the values of a fruit, right? Like it tells you 5,000, right? Rocket is 5,000 here, right? It tells you this is You see, this is above it, right? This is you see how they're basically. You see, this one's higher than no one, So you see how they kind of give you like they basically give you a tier list for trading here, right? Right, look, you see, it says this one's in progress. It's said like that since Christmas. We've discussed in the last video, but regardless, right? Kitsune I got not too long ago from stock, and it was 8 million. So 8 million is the max. And I think Leopard is 5 million, but I don't remember. Does it tell me? I don't think it does. Okay, what does it matter? This one was 8 million, so the top is 8 million. Alright. Now you see this tier list that they've given to you, right? With all like, although this fruit has more value in money, right? I want you to get this entire thing and just throw it away, because this tier list that they've put up here, right? This value list does not apply to trading or PvP at all. Like, let me give you an example. Like this will be very simple. Pain, also known as paw, sucks. Now I know some people have gone crazy with it, and they're like, oh no, paw is actually really good. I can use it, but it's a hard fruit to use. Even if you can make use of it, it's still bad. If the fruit is hard to use, it is bad. So pain is bad fruit, right? But yet it is higher than rumble, which is way better than paw by a mile. Like it is a lot better by a lot. Blizzard is higher than rumble. Meanwhile, rumble is way better than blizzard. Now I can make a whole tier list about like why, but just hear me out here. Just stick with me, right? Blizzard is not as good as rumble. Gravity is the one of the worst mythics in the game. It's bad. It's good for some, so for teaming, for some like specific reasons, it can be good. But generally, it is, especially in trading, gravity has no value. And this is important because there are a lot of fruits in the game that have no value. No value means they have no trading potential. Nobody wants them, so they have no value. If you put them on the table, they will be most likely uninterested. If you put gravity, they're most likely going to give you another gravity if you have the space for it, or they're gonna give you like they're gonna give you paw, right? Like this is very common that they'll give you paw because paw and gravity are usually put on the same scale, on the same standard. Okay, so these two fruits, paw and gravity, have zero value, and that also goes for, let's see, magma. I would say has zero value because obviously when you start off trading, like maybe you'll start trading, some of these, right? But to be honest, like that's like in actual trading, that's like not even like that's that's so minimal in trading that it doesn't even like, it's like a little phase that you go through, right? Where you're trading these little fruits, right? And most of the time when people are trading, they're trading the big guns. They're trading around here, and around here, right? Around here, around here, around here. Buddha, Quake, okay? Maybe Magma, very like very low, right? And Magma you get just a good amount of, there's a good chance to get it in like the rolls, right? If you just roll every 2 hours, right? So all of these fruits here have zero trading value. So if you put them on the table, there's a huge chance that they'll be uninterested, and there's no point in even putting them on the table. For example, if I put Buddha, Buddha is a fruit that people like. It's a really good fruit. You can solo raids with it. It's really good, right? If I put Buddha on the trading table and I put Diamond, the Diamond is not gonna raise my trade by anything. Even if the money, even if it says, oh, the your money for your trade value has gone up, it doesn't matter. They don't want diamonds, so they don't care. All they see is the Buddha. The diamond is irrelevant. So even if you put it on there, it has what? It has zero value, zero trading value. So it doesn't exist. Let's see if anybody's trading. Nope. All right, this is kind of a dead server. I ain't gonna lie. I might have to go like trade somewhere else, like second sea or something like that. But I just want to go through all this right now. Spider is kind of on the verge of zero value. I ain't gonna lie. Like I would not be trading Spider at all. Like obviously there'll be very specific moments where somebody will be looking for a fruit. Like they'll be like, anybody have Spider, blah blah, right? But on a general scale, when you're trying to get better fruits, Spider has zero value. If let's say if you're trying to get T-Rex, if you put Spider on the table, they'll probably not care at all, and it'll not raise your value at all. Or for Godot, right? So now that we've gotten all this way, like these are just like the worst fruits for trading. Like they can be good fruits. Light is a pretty decent fruit. I can, you can kill some people with it. Rubber, I can kill some people with it. Barrier, I can meme around with it. It's pretty funny. Magma is really good for like sea hunting, right? And yeah, that's cool. That's a cool argument. It is. It's true. But it's so like, it's so niche. It only shines in sea battles, right? Most of the time, right? Like obviously it can do some good in PvP, but it's just like so like it's so niche that it has no like real value. So I would like I would argue this has no value. Quake has no value either because it's also pretty common to get. Buddha has lots of value. Love does not really have, it's these are both these are like no value. Sound, I would say, has no value too because it's just a meh. It had value obviously when it came out because it was pretty recent, but in the, recent on updates obviously, not actually recent. Phoenix, no value. I gotta be honest. Portal does have value because people like to go get around places, right? And it's really good for PvP, but people don't really use it for that. They don't really understand that it's good for PvP yet. But I'll explain that probably in another video. Rumble is really good. Uh, it is, yeah, it's really good for PvP, right? And what else? It's good for trading too. People do like think about it. Like if you put that on the table, it has a presence on the trading table. Let's see if I know nobody's over there. Okay, Blizzard, I would say has some trading value, but I wouldn't really care about it that much. Mammoth does have trading value. T-Rex does, since it's the T-Rex is like the newest fruit. Doe, everybody loves Doe. Like everybody loves Doe. Now, while Doe might not be that good in comparison to Dragon, Doe is like one of the most high value fruits in the game. If you have Doe, you can most likely get any of like a good deal for it. Maybe a game pass, stuff like that, right? And I'll get into game passes later because you can trade like game passes within the game and you can get stuff for that too. Shadow doesn't have value. But obviously, right? Not everybody understands the values of the fruits, right? Like what you're gonna get and what, like, like they don't really understand the like they don't understand the ups and downs of trades sometimes, right? So you can put Shadow on the table, right? You can put Blizzard on the table, right? And if they give you a good deal for it, just take it. You might think, like, that's what I was talking about in the beginning, right? It might you like if you can scam, do it. There's no reason to not to. If you put Pan on the table and they give you Rumble, take it. Do it. Like, what's stopping you? If you put Pan and they give you Portal, take it. Go run with it. Go hog wild, bro. Like, there's nothing stopping you, man. What else? Yeah, so like Shadow, like, just sometimes you can just like test the waters, unless, like, some, like, you can, when you're looking at a guy, right? Sometimes if they're max, sometimes you can tell, like, if they're like more loose in their trading, like if they're experienced or they're not, right? So yeah, Control has, I would say it's kind of in a weird spot, right? Because like I said in my last video, it was promised a rework, which is why I have um four of them. I have four of them because I was stacking up on them. I was stacking on my dragons too, but I had like four, but I gave away one and I ate one, and then I got bored because the dragon never came out, right? But Control is in a weird spot because to some people who are still coping, they might think that we're still getting a rework, um, but I don't know. I would say I would say hold on. If you have Control, hold on to it. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't really, but I wouldn't go overboard on trying to get Control. Like, I wouldn't give Doe for Control, nothing like that. Don't go crazy about it. I wouldn't give Venom for Control. If you have a Mammoth, I would say, mm, yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you have a Mammoth, probably get Control because Mammoth is not really that good. This is kind of like a little sneak peek into the next video, I guess, right? Any fruit that is ground based, like ground based, right? Meaning it resides on the floor, like you have to be on the floor most of the time to use it, is a bad fruit, mostly, right? There's three different kinds of fruits, right? There's hybrid fruits, which means they can go they can function in both in the air and on the ground. There are fruits that can mainly only function on the ground. There are fruits that can mainly they can best function in the air, right? Or best function on the ground, right? Mammoth is one of those fruits, right? Because a lot of the moves, like, when you transform into the mammoth, you have to be on the floor. If you want to use the charge, you have to be on the floor. Like, a lot of the moves are on the floor, right? It's not really fast in the air, so it's not really a good fruit to be using in the air. And because it's ground based, it's bad. Same goes for like T-Rex. Like, I don't really see it as it's more of a ground fruit, not really a air fruit, right? An air fruit would be more like a Venom, or a Dragon, or I think Dragon's more of a hybrid. Never mind. Leopard, which is an air fruit. Yep, Leopard's an air fruit. And Kitsune, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm seeing, as I've been using it, I'm seeing that it's more of a ground fruit. But Spirit is a ground fruit. Yeah, because it has like the little trees that you have to put on the ground. But yeah, so like, as I was saying, right? So when it comes to trading, right, you kind of have to value the fruits like on your own, right? Because you have to realize that the values of fruits on a trading table and the value of a fruit in PvP are separate. Kitsune, as I'm seeing now, right, is not as good as Leopard. But right now, Kitsune could probably get you 3 leopards or 2 leopards, right? Because it like Kitsune is the latest crazed crazed fruit. It has 8 million worth, right? That I had to pay for, right? And people are like, oh my god, Kitsune, 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 Kitsune. Kitsune is probably like as I'm saying right now, it's not that crazy. Leopard is better than it. It is decent. Like I can get kills with it. I haven't really like put it to like its max yet. I haven't used it to its full potential. I'm still grinding it out. As you can see, I still have like a lot more mastery to get on it and more experience to get on it and see what it like where it works, what doesn't. But as I'm saying is now Leopard is better, and this is the problem because on a trading table, people will fight tooth and nail, telling you that Kitsune is worth more. But in your head, you kind of have to rationalize this, right? That you are not going to give a leopard for a Kitsune in the same way that you would not give Mammoth for Gravity, even though they're right next to each other, right? Or you wouldn't give a Rumble for Gravity. But the person will be like, oh well, but Gravity is higher than Portal. But Gravity is higher than Portal or Rumble. Why are you not giving me? Why don't you give it to me, right? Or the same way you wouldn't give Blizzard for Gravity, right? The same method applies here, right? These fruits lessen in value because their actual like application in the real game lessens, right? And just in case there might be somebody who's thinking like, oh well, what's their PVE value, right? Like versus like the mobs in the game, right? Uh, the the value of a fruit in grinding does not matter, and here's why. If you want to grind, like let's say you want to grind a material for an upgrade on a sword or a gun, whatever, right? Grind a material, right? Or you want to grind an enemy, kill a boss, get Buddha. Buddha is so good that it is the sole grind fruit. You'll never need another grind fruit. Buddha is the only grind fruit you need. Period. So when you look at Venom and you question, oh, is it good versus um like NPCs, like the little guys you fight? No, like that should never be a concern. Control should never be a concern of that either. Spirit shouldn't be a concern of that either. Obviously, you do have to get mastery by fighting them, but like that's just something you have to do. Like that's not really like you wouldn't really care. Like if the fruit's good, it's good. Like what you gonna fight? Like Venom is good, right? Let's say Venom had trash PVE potential, right? It was really bad against like little guys, right? These little guys over here, right? Who cares? You still need to get it to 600 mastery to get it like the most, to get the most out of your money, right? So you have to do it no matter what. Like it's not really a question. It's not really like to just get through it, bro. Like tough luck, womp womp. Like you gotta do it, bro. Like so, it's not that crazy. Um, and I mean, just this is basic, but like always like check dealer and check gotcha, right? Because you don't want to do a trade, right? Let's say you want to trade for a leopard, but leopard's in the shop. So guess what happens? Its value changes while the fruit is in stock. Like Kitsune came out, right? So guess whose value? Guess what happened to Kitsune, right? Its value went down because it became so like free for everybody, right? If you had 8 million money, you could have spotted light work. But before then, it wasn't even an option to buy. You had to get lucky or trade for it, right? But since a new gateway opened to get the fruit, its value went down because now like I go around and I see everybody has Kitsune, right? And that's the problem because it has like it's so widespread, the value goes down, right? So you always got to keep in mind that, right? And same thing for it. If you want to trade for a fruit, right? Let's say somebody's trying to give you a dough, right? But if dough's in shop, you got to know that the value went down for dough just for that hour, hour or two or however long the fruit stock lasts, right? And maybe even a couple hours after the stock, right? Because even after the stock, the fruit is still relatively new in people's minds and in people's inventories, right? Dragon fruit for sure is like pretty high right now, like high in demand. You could probably get any fruit with dragon fruit. Like if you have dragon fruit, you have like the wild card, like in Uno. You could do anything with it, right? I could get a game pass for it most likely. Like this is another thing, right? We're talking about game passes, right? I almost forgot, right? Let's go to game passes, right? Where's the game passes at? Okay, so they got these, right? So respawn bosses, you should not be getting that, right? Refund stats, you should not be wanting that. Change race, you should not be wanting that. You can get that for free. Just grind some raids with Buddha. Fruit storage. Okay, you can get that, yeah. Okay, so this is important, right? Any fruits within this range, right? 400. This one, this one, this one, this one. These. Okay, so if you had one of these, right? Or you had any of these, right? Regardless if the value goes down, right? Sometimes somebody will be like, I want fast boats, or I want 2 times drop chance, or I want 2 times money. But sometimes they'll be very specific in the one they want because they already have all the other ones, right? Let's say I have all these, right? And all I need is 2 times mastery. So I need a guy who will give me 2 times mastery, right? And sometimes, sometimes you have Robux to spend, right? So let's say you buy one of these, right? And then you want to trade, right? So, right now, I would say that 2 of these are worth 1 kitchen. I would say that that is true. I would say that you could find somebody where you give 2 of these and you get kitchen, right? But something to keep in mind is, right, that when you get stacked, right? When you get stacked, right? Let's say you have 2 dragons, or let's say you have something similar to this, right? Let's say I just had one of all of these, right? One of all of these. Like I don't have 4 dough. Let's just say I have one of all of these, right? I'm not a stack technically, right? If I only have one of these, right? If I only had one of all of these, I would still not trade fairly. And what I mean by that, right, is that you're always trying to take advantage of the person when you're trading, right? You never want to give them a fair trade. You always want to take advantage, right? And the reason why is because you're trying to grow your storage. You're not trying to get a fair trade. Because let's say you have one of all of these, right? At this point, you can get any fruit in the game you want. So the goal no longer is let me try every fruit or let me have every fruit, right? Instead, it's how can I get more? How can I grow my fruit storage, right? Like how can I get more of this, right? How can I get from 1 venom to 3 venom? How can I get from 1 dough to 4 dough? You see what I mean? You want to get more. Or let's say you don't have extra storage, right? Let's just say, okay, how do I get from 1 dough to 1 dough, and now I also have a dragon and a venom and a spirit and a control and a shadow? How do I get more, right? So there you get to a point when you are so like you have everything, right? Like you've already tested out every fruit, like you have, you know, like the value isn't the same anymore, right? Because you're not trying to trade fairly. There's no point. There's no value in trading fairly anymore, right? So you gotta realize that, right? So what happens when there's no reason to trading fair, right? Now you have to try to take advantage of the person. And how do you do this? You try to trade them unfairly, right? So let's say you're trying to get a dough, right? You're trying to shoot as low as possible. So sometimes you'll have to deny some of these trades, right? So you want a dough, right? But like when you're at the state, right, where you're like, oh, it's whatever, right? You wouldn't say I want a dough. You say, oh, I if I could get a dough, that'd be epic for my storage, right? I want to get more. Like it's a chance to get more, so I'll take that chance, right? But it's a chance, right? It's not a guarantee. So sometimes you have to drop the trade, and go to the next person, right? Whenever that time comes, right? It's kind of like a side hustle. It's not the main goal anymore, right? So let's say you do this, right? You throw in portal, rumble, gravity, and yeah, rumble, pain, blizzard, gravity, and you do it for dough. If the guy says no, you're like, oh, okay, wait. And then let's say you add something else, right? Instead of rumble or instead of pain, you throw in phoenix, right? You keep raising up the bar, right? And you keep trying to edge your way in there, but you never fairly trade them, right? So what would be a fair trade for dough? Let me see. Probably a Buddha, maybe Buddha and maybe a phoenix, or a Buddha and a portal, or a Buddha and a rumble, or definitely not dragon right now. Dragon is probably worth 2 doughs, to be honest, currently. Um, You see, I would say dough is worth the venom, but nah, because that would be, I guess that would be a fair trade in like trade standards, but not in PvP standards. So I wouldn't give up venom for dough because that's too much, right? That's too much of a threat. You don't want that. Though you don't want it. Shadow for dough, take that any day. Take that any day. If you chip put shadow and they'll take dough, you take that, right? You see, another problem is, right, like as I was saying before, right? You'll say, oh, this guy's trading spirit and mammoth. Okay, so I might go over to that guy right now, right? So you see, nobody will give you shadow. No, nobody will give you dough for shadow, right? Even though the one is higher than the other, right? But people will be like, oh no, but the higher, this is the tier list. No, it's not, because look, you're lying to yourself. You wouldn't do this, would you? No, you wouldn't. And there you go, because it's not a fair trade. Doesn't make sense. Okay, let me try to like demo trade with this guy and show you like what's up, right? I probably won't actually trade with this guy. One thing you want to do, like sometimes I just do this, right? Like I'll just like, okay, this is a bad trade right here. You see, I'm putting dragon. That is no value fruit right now. No value fruit. You see, the no value fruits trade change, right? Because before, right, I said that the blizzard has some kind of value. Phoenix has no value here. These two fruits have no value. He's putting up two fruits and they have no value. Give me a sec. I'm gonna try to like explain this to you guys, right? Spirit sucks. Dragon is getting a rework, so its popularity right now is skyrocketed. Its stock went up. It is more important than it ever was, right? Even when it was important, like it was pretty important. Like you could trade a dragon for a doe, but it doubled because it was getting a rework. Everybody is hyped for this rework. Everybody's been waiting for this rework for years. Right? So now it doubled. Now it's worth two does. Spirit is the one of the worst fruits I've ever used. Like it's not horrible. You can make it work, but I just do not like playing with it, and I would not recommend it for somebody trying to be really good at PvP. Obviously, you can make it work, but it's just not worth it. I do not condone someone getting Spirit. Right? Mammoth is also really bad for PvP. It is really slow. Um, it doesn't really like Dragon is way better than any of these fruits in PvP. Right? Blizzard and Phoenix have no value here, okay? Mammoth has no value here because like it's like it doesn't matter, right? But this is a big thing, right? This is a big thing, right? Look, my this is my trade value. 3,500,000, right? 10,300,000, right? This guy is giving me like basically 7 million more, right? But this fruit is worth way more than whatever this is, right? This money value, I almost never look at. Never look at this money value. This thing does not exist to you. The only reason this is here, or the only reason you should think about it, is if I was gonna give more. If I was gonna give a filler fruit, which is what I like to call it, right? Filler fruit, which is also a no value fruit. It's basically the same thing, but filler fits more of the scenario that we're talking about. So I put oh, he already has gravity. Okay. I put Blizzard. He has a double space. I put Pain. So these are two no value fruits, right? And I'm giving them solely to meet the need of the value difference here in the bottom, right? Because if I take this away, what happens? It says value difference is too high. They must be around the same, right? Oh, it's giving me this whole radar thing. I don't care about it right now, right? So it's a whole thing, right? But you gotta think, right? In this situation, you might think, I'm getting four fruits, this is so awesome, and it's worth 10 million. I'm winning, right? No, you're not. You're losing by a lot. Dragon has a like these fruits have unspoken values. These fruits have values more than what you see on the screen. So don't fall for this kind of trade that makes no sense. This is one of the worst trades you could ever make. And you might think, oh shoot, I'll just throw in a gravity and take the trade. This is so awesome. I remember back in the day, people used to think that Dragon and Spirit were on the same level. Spirit is way below Dragon by a long shot. This guy readied up. Dude, me giving Venom and Dragon is like way leagues beyond the trade he just gave to me. This is what is seen as an unfair trade. And this is an unfair trade too. This is a horrible trade. Do not do this. Here, I'll put dough on and just to mess with it, dude. How many doughs does let me put up? Oh, only two, okay. Whew, okay. But this is not what you want to do. You do not want to do this. Okay, this is a good example of what you do not want to do. Okay, and now I don't know why he's messing around. He's taking away fruits away. You put it back. But yeah, so hopefully this helps a little bit. I know like this might be hard to like implement right away, but as you start to play more, you'll probably understand more about what I'm talking about. Especially with the trading way things work, right? This is the best he has. I mean that's all good, bro. If this is the best he has, that's awesome. But when you're trading, you wanna get more yourself, right? If you want to get more fruits and more value out of your trade, you have to make sure that you're not doing trades like this. This guy's, he wants. If I do this to him, he's getting a lot more, bro, and I can't accept that. So I'm gonna leave. Sorry, brother. All right, I gotta, I gotta keep my does and all that, right? My dragon, right? I'm still waiting for the river too, like everybody else. Wait in line, buddy. So, well, like yeah, like it's semi complicated and it's semi not, right? And oh, another thing, right? You can also trade perm fruits, right? Perm fruits, right? Um, with most perm fruits, you can basically get anything you want, right? Because let's say right here, right? Let's say spin, right? I think I remember trading like a gravity for spin or something, or like I think it was a control, or maybe like because I had like an extra or something like that. But like something, you have to think about a fruit that has like a weird spot on a tier list, right? Like it isn't like crazy value. Like you wouldn't give a leopard for perm spin, right? Like that just sounds insane in and of itself, right? Like these perms I got from trading, right? So it's just like a little meh, right? But yeah. So, but I would say anything like a Buddha, right? Buddha perm is most likely worth a kitsune currently. Um, back when leopard was new and was like the top tier fruit, the biggest value fruit, it was worth a perm Buddha. So, but yeah, usually the top fruit, like on this list with the most value is worth a perm Buddha. Usually people don't look for perm love or spider. Like these are some weird like perms, so I wouldn't really like recommend even getting them if you wanted them. I got these just to troll around, just because I was like, why not? I wanted to continue. I wanted to go back and forth into them whenever I felt like him. So let's see, perm portal is also probably worth a kid soon. So you see, it gets to a point where it's like, it's like the perms are in a weird spot, right? Because usually you don't get a trade like that, right? Like, what do you even give for perm kitsune, right? Like, what would you even trade for that? That trade makes no sense, right? Because the guy with the perm kitsune has so much value that it skyrockets any deal possible. Because what is the most high value fruit, right? It's kitsune, right? So if you put four kitsunes, it's still not worth a perm kitsune. That makes no sense, right? And doe is, even though it has high value, it doesn't reach anywhere near that. Leopard, even four leopards would not be worth a perm kitsune because perm is permanent. You would never need to trade for it ever again. If you got one, if you got a kitsune after having perm kitsune, it would literally be a bonus. It would be a trade object only. It'd basically be trade currency because you could trade it away, and for like that, it would be of no loss to you. So yeah, it gets to a point where it's just like insane. Triple dark blade or like or they're just the dark blade. I forgot triple blade. My bad. But dark blade, right? Um, it usually dark blade and fruit notifier are worth like a handful of fruits. Like people will be like, oh, I want doe, I want dragon, or I want two does, I want two dragons. And then after I want you also to give me two kitsunes. Like, well, they'll give you usually a list. So most of the time you won't really want to trade for them. At that point, it's kind of like a free realm kind of thing because it's like whatever the guy with the dark blade game pass has or fruit notifier game pass asks for, you have to give them. But something I highly suggest is that you go to the Discord of Blox, and they have an entire trade channel. So if you're actually looking for like a very specific trade, like on one of these game passes, I suggest you go there. Or if you're trading a game pass, I suggest you trade there, right? Because let's say, um, like from experience, like back in the day, right? Um, a leopard used to cost two game passes, right? Like that was like the most people agreed with that amount, right? Like as for a good trade, right? But what I did was because I'm at such a point as a player, right? I would only trade one game pass for leopard, and some people would be happy with that. And it was because they were not as trade aware with like what they had and what was their value and what they're getting, right? And that's kind of the point of trading, right? Like you want to see how much you can push it to get the most out of the trade, right? And you never want the trade to be as fair as, you don't want the trade to be fair, because you get nothing if the trade is fair, because you can already get everything. Like I said before, its value degrades, right? So back in the day, leopard was worth two of these, right? So probably now it's probably diminished to only one, but I would argue that some people would still say it's worth two. But I would say look for one, because you like I like it. You don't need. I think at this point you could be any type of player. Like you don't even have to be max or anything like that, right? And if you had a two times drop chance or whatever, right, or two times money or two times master, right? I believe there's still people out there who will give you leopard for one of these game passes. So I believe you can go crazy with that, and I think that would work well for you. And I think that's most of it for game passes and like just trading in general. It takes some time to get used to it, but I think my next PvP like video might help a little bit. Hopefully it isn't too hard to make that one, because it's like, how am I gonna play with all those fruits when I don't have perms of them, and I'm currently using Kitsune, so it would have to be out of my word of like what I'm saying, right? And I guess I could make it kind of work. So yeah. Um. See ya.